Good. I was going to say afternoon. It's afternoon some places. It's morning other places, but happy brunch day.
Happy brunch, ladies.
Episode 25, the Brunch Ladies of Conshy Consignment. Welcome.
How about us? Bless you, Lily. Did you hear Lily sneeze?
Did not. I can kind of see her furry head. We're going to have to post a picture of her up for our podcast listeners, so hopefully you have a good one.
So Lily, y'all, is my mother's dog. We actually came yesterday to help her with some more things in her house here and outside in her little courtyard where I'm sitting now. So we're here for the weekend. We're actually getting ready to head back right after lunch and go back home. So I'm live from Anderson, South Carolina again, and I'm outside in the courtyard. Hold on. And there's Lily, my mom's dog.
Oh, she's so cute.
She's just a little fluff. She's a cute little fluff. She really is. She's a good dog.
I'm going to post a picture of her up later so podcast listeners can take a peek on social media.
At Sweet Lil.
Co-host today.
Yes, Sweet Lil. So hopefully she won't start barking. If she does, she'll go back inside. But for now, here we are. Got my Starbucks. No yummies from Nick today, What are you drinking?
Not here either. I have some grapefruit bubbly. I'm down to the last, my least favorite flavor.
You don't like the grapefruit?
I don't care for it, no.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, don't care for it.
Just think, it was this time last week we were together.
I know. So much has transpired in 1 week. Gosh.
I miss you. I miss you. I really think we need to live together.
That would be cool. I don't know how your husband would feel about that.
He'd be like, oh, God. Two women. Oh, no.
It's a lot.
You're easy to have visit. We always say that. We love when Libby comes. She's so you're chill. You're so easy to have. So.
Oh, I love being there. It's my home away from home. Home away from home.
So what's going on? Fill me in.
Gosh, I'm trying to think like last Brunch Ladies. Oh, you know what we were talking about last Brunch Ladies was the silver, because we were just embarking on that wild ride of doing your family's silver and listing it.
Yep.
And we've come a long way since then, haven't we?
So who knew how much it was going to take? And we're still not done. So if you guys have gone onto our site, go on, take a peek, look at what's there. There's a lot there. Silver plate and sterling. Libby and I got in a real roll. We were doing good.
We did really well.
Getting through all of the flatware. And when I say all, there was a lot of flatware. The hardest part was we have our family pieces that I knew were Chantilly because my great-great-grandmother from early on, everybody's always done Chantilly. But then we had that whole box of single and just a couple of pieces of a certain pattern that came from somebody down the line. And that took a lot of identifying, right?
Wow. Yeah. I mean, we worked 2 full days I would say just on the Chantilly.
Yeah. And we learned the most exciting thing to me, we did get into some family history, which was interesting, and somebody else on one of the sites found a good amount, but that when it comes from Charleston area back in the day, which we have a few pieces from Carrington and Company, what was the other? Something Allen.
James Allen, I think
James Allen. That is actually what they call coin silver. And I didn't know about coin silver. Did you?
No, not until you educated me last week.
So there's a difference between your 925 sterling when it comes to things like the Gorham sterling to what is kind of your old South U.S. made way back when companies that used what they call coin silver, which is, I guess, like silver coin type quality silver. Mm-hmm. So I loved learning about that.
Yeah, that was interesting. The only other thing I really, and this goes back, I learned this, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago, is there's such a thing as German silver. Have you ever seen anything stamped German silver?
I can't remember if I have or not. Not that it stuck out.
So the 2 things I had were both those like chain mesh antique handbags. If you've ever seen them, they're kind of like they're a mesh. They're almost like a chainmail or something like that, handbags, and they were stamped German silver. So, you know, I was like, oh, these are silver. Well, German silver is not silver. while the bags themselves had a great amount of value, it wasn't for the silver. It's actually an alloy. So if you ever see the stamp German silver, it is not actually silver. I think it's a lot of nickel in there. I forget what the actual composition of, but yeah, isn't that
interesting?
Yeah.
So I hope y'all don't get seasick. I'm actually going to have to move you for a minute because where I'm sitting, I thought was going to work, but the sun is starting to come from behind the clouds, and it's really, the glare is in my eyeballs. And I'm going to let Lily in because she wants to go in. So,
all right, well, you go ahead and do that.
All right, she's in. Okay, now I'm going to change my location so that I can see y'all better and not be squinting.
All right. So one of the other things we learned about doing the silver that Molly and I had we really laughed about, and it was a little crazy, is the different utensils. I mean, what?
Who knew? Who knew you needed a lemon fork?
I was going to say, what was the first thing to sell of the Chantilly silver? It was a lemon fork.
A lemon fork.
Yeah.
There's a special fork
with the orange knife, or the grapefruit spoon, or the strawberry spoon.
Oh, and there's a lettuce fork. Remember the lettuce fork? It's not a salad fork, because we do our place settings with salad forks.
Right.
But there's actually a fork specifically for lettuce.
Yeah, and as silly us, I mean, we thought it was an asparagus fork.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we were so wrong.
So wrong.
So wrong.
The things you need, there's all like 17 different kinds of little knives.
Yeah.
You've got spreaders, you've got fish knife, you've got and the corned beef fork. Remember, there's a corned beef fork.
No, there was a chipped beef fork.
Chipped beef fork. Sorry, my bad. Chipped beef fork. Yes.
I mean, how much chipped beef are people eating in the South in those days? They need a specific fork for that.
Well, if it's anything like what I grew up with, quite a few.
Oh, all right. Well, that makes me feel a little bit better. Yeah. Now, what was there is one piece that sticks in my head as the strangest one. I don't know if the same one sticks in your head.
Hold on, I'm trying to think of the strangest. You're just going to have to say it.
It wasn't one you had in inventory. It wasn't one your family had.
Oh, so it's one we read about.
It's one we read about because we had to go through this, I don't know how many, 700 different kinds of Chantilly silver and utensils and date them. And it's really wild. But the ice cream fork.
Oh, yes, the ice cream fork.
Yeah.
There's an ice cream spoon.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an ice cream fork.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah. And I got really excited at one point. Well, my mind was blown by all this. But the one thing I got really excited because we were identifying this long, thin spoon with some piercings in it. And I thought we had the $500 horseradish spoon.
Right?
I was so excited. And I think we ended up, it was a $50 long-handled olive spoon.
Rightfully so, because we do have a thing about olives in our group. So rightfully so.
But that was a little bit of a letdown for me. I thought I identified something really cool, really small that was going to be worth,
It was a little bit of a letdown, but then it was a little bit of a homely feeling that it was olive. It would have been more of a letdown if it was like for cherries.
Oh, yeah, that would have been horrible.
Made it a little bit easier to take.
Yeah, it did. It was still kind of fun.
Yeah.
Oh, so speaking of which, on Resale Therapy this week, we had Pink Floyd and Molly brought back from Miami a plate for my mother.
Yes.
And Molly's husband, Nick, gave it to her, and we showed a picture on Resale Therapy. But I'm actually going to post that picture up on our social media because it was just so cute.
Yeah.
We have this thing about olives. If you'll notice in our thumbnail and all our broadcasts for Brunch Ladies, you'll see the drink with the olives. And Nick makes the most beautiful drinks and garnishes them with olives. And, we love olives.
Mom loves olives. So Libby's mom and Nick have this relationship based on olive chat. They talk all things olives.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when I came across this
True.
olive dish, I went nuts, which I did show in a past episode from Miami. I did show it, I believe, live on the.
Did you? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I think I showed it. But we decided the best place for that vintage olive dish was in the hands of Libby's mom. So Libby
And
surprised her and
it's
took
a
it.
good use during resale therapy. She got all of her little snacks set up on it. So I can't wait to show you guys the picture.
I
of it all
know
set up.
when you sent that picture to Nick and I, it was so cute what she did. I love it. I love that
Mhm.
she's using it and enjoys it. So that's wonderful.
Isn't it great when you find something in an estate and it finds that right home?
Yep.
And that's better than, honestly, like any money you make sometimes.
Yeah. Well, and that was one that came from Aunt Judy. And when Poppy got a hold of the story, and she was just like, "Oh, one of them has to have the olive dish. So you got to take it back. One of them must own it." So
very
love
cool.
it.
Very
Love
cool.
it. So what else we have going on? Oh, I know. I don't know if I'm jumping ship on you here on subjects, but we focused on some back to school this week in the social media.
Mm-hmm.
I did that back to school post and shared literally just a minor little tinkling of items that we have. Is tinkling a word, or is that one of my made up words?
Good.
It did, didn't it? It worked.
Yeah, it really, yeah.
Just work with me, people.
Sprinkling. Maybe it's a sprinkling of items.
I don't know. Sprinkling of items. I kind of like tinkling.
Right, let's go with it. Let's go with it.
Anyway,
hopefully somebody doesn't take that quote out of the Brunch Ladies and quote us somewhere.
Right? Oh my goodness.
I like tinkling. That doesn't sound so good.
They like Brunch Ladies like tinkling. So yeah, I have a way of using words where they don't belong. It's just my thing. I have my own dictionary and thesaurus that I make up. So just work with me, people.
We will.
Anyway, yeah, so it was fun going through. I mean, how do you decide with back to school? We have so many items in stock for back to school. It was crazy. And I thought about it because when we did our sidekick job and had our interview with Liz O'Kane, we were talking about the beauty of this generation of young people being so tuned into circular economy and shopping consignment and thrift. And so the whole idea of going through the back to school items this week and deciding really had me like totally thinking all through that. Like, how many of the teenagers and college age kids love to shop and know that they're buying something that's not going to wind up in a landfill?
Yeah. And I mean, I've met several people through this journey of like younger people in their early 20s, let's say at this point, that only shop. Like they specifically request if they're having a birthday or a celebration, they specifically request like, please don't buy anything new. If you're going to get a gift, please, I support secondhand. So it's kind of
love it. Yeah, so I kind of had this little moment going through all those, trying to pick and choose. And of course, there's so many things that would work that I just had to put a sprinkling tinkling out there.
The cat backpack, the Galactic Cat backpack is still my favorite. I said that last week. I love that.
So cute.
I love that.
Speaking of which, we're talking about, and this is totally off the cuff here, but it's going to be dated properly because we do this live. We met a young woman through our other business, Consignment Chats, and her name is Emily, and she started her own business of resale, and her name of her business is, you have to say it, Libby.
Well, I say syllabi.
Syllabi. But I wanted to throw it out there, a little good mojo, little prayer for her, because she is located in New Orleans. And I just am hoping that her brand new building, she just started her showroom redo, got her product up and was just about to go live with her brand new vintage recycled clothing business. And I'm just really hoping that this hurricane gives her a break and everyone else in New Orleans. But I wanted to throw that out there. Just a little good mojo. If you pray prayers for Emily and everybody else in New Orleans.
That's so nice. Yes, that's a really nice thought.
Because I think of her when I'm thinking about young people in this and what an amazing job she's doing with her business. So
it's funny because I had just seen a post this morning about her getting ready for everything, and hopefully getting ready for the potential bad weather and situations.
Yeah. Little, not to bring us down, but real life things that we need to all send little good wishes for and hope that it's not as disastrous as it looks like it could be. So.
Yeah, and I mean the reseller community, which we're pretty involved in, owning a consignment store and everything, is very supportive of each other. So I'm sure, if somebody is going through a hard time or encounters a crazy obstacle, or there is an enormous amount of support out there in community. So
right. And my initial thought was, can't I drive down there and grab all her stuff and bring it and save it so it doesn't get destroyed?
I know.
I worry about it, but I worry about physical life. Obviously, in the end, that's just stuff. But she has worked so hard on her dream, and yeah. And we're just that
really had fun following her and along with her journey.
Yeah, she's pretty amazing. She's fun. She's a lot of fun. So just thought I'd throw that in there.
We've been in business for 9. It was 9 years actually in July. Conshy Consignment. Yeah. So next year is the Big 10.
Woo, we're gonna have to
we've been doing this forever. Like in a way, 10 years is or 9 years is a long time, but in other ways, it's
So y'all, supporters of Conshy Consignment, I'm going to do a little tooting and patting here. What this 9 years of experience does in the world of all these consignment companies and businesses that we've become friends with is it makes Libby an expert. Watch her get uncomfortable, y'all. Libby, you are friends with and shop from a woman who is an expert in the field and gets sought out by other businesses for advice and help. And that's our girl, Libby.
Yeah, that's me.
That's her uncomfortable look, but I just thought I'd give you a little shout out.
Oh, thank you. I feel like I'm always learning, and I'm always,
And I think that's what makes you that much more amazing, is that with all the years of experience that you have and people reach out to you, you still look at it as I'm learning every day, which we are. And you have so much knowledge, but you are not cocky about that knowledge. You share it willingly with everybody else in the business. And just a little plug.
I love the reseller consignment community. It's all about, collaboration over competition and helping each other out and creating kind of a new way of shopping and a new way of life, really.
There's room for all of us to be successful in this, especially as the world grows more conscious about the need to do this for our environment and future. So, wow, we're a little preachy today, aren't we?
Woo. A little bit.
Let's lighten up a little here. I'm going deep today. What's wrong with me?
All right. So listen, we were talking this week. We talked about back to school, and one of the posts you did was what was it? What was your favorite schoolyard game?
Yes, your favorite schoolyard game. Oh, yeah. Four Squares. How much I love playing Four Squares.
I'd never heard of it. I mean, you and someone else had mentioned that was your favorite, and I'd never heard of it, or I played it and totally forgot, which is also quite possible. Tell us about Foursquare, because it sounded fun.
So much fun. So typically it's painted on blacktops, or you make it yourself in the dirt or sand or whatever with sticks, but you have I shouldn't say sand, you have to have something pretty solid. But you use those rubber, like basic playground balls, or you can use a basketball, or, we used to use basketballs a lot. But you have 4 squares. You have one big square with a line going through the middle, both diagonally and horizontally. So it makes 4 squares. Mm-hmm. And 4 people are in the square. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So if I remember correctly, the 4th is the server. And you start off and you want to make your way around. And you try to get people out. And the way to get people out is you serve, and it can only bounce once in your square, and then you have to serve it over to somebody else by hitting it. You can't hold it, stop it, double tap it. You have to literally just let it bounce and then boom, pop it over into somebody else's. So as it develops, you come up with all these little rules that you have. Like you can have bus stop where you can like tap, tap, tap a couple of times in the air before you serve it down. And that allows you to do really low drops of the ball so that somebody has a hard time getting to it. But if you get it in their square and they miss it, or it goes out and it hits their square first, kind of like if you think of a tennis line, then they're out. So they have to get out of their square and everybody rotates around a square. So one moves to two, two moves to three, three moves to four, and if two gets out, then one moves to two, and whoever's in line outside of the square comes into place one.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So you had all these different rules we made up as kids. And I don't know if they were, um, you know, global rules or we would just make them up ourselves, but you had things like bus stop, or we would do games where you had to say something specific before you served it into the next person, like you'd have to yell a color, and it couldn't have been one that was already said, and if you repeated a color you were out. But the whole goal was to be the server and stay in the server spot as long as you could.
Love it.
It was so much fun. Much fun.
Some of the most popular ones were kickball, dodgeball, jump rope.
Hopscotch was on there, wasn't there?
I love jump rope and double dutch and all that good stuff. But you know what? The one I can't believe nobody mentioned this because it was one we played constantly was Red Rover.
Oh, I know. We loved Red Rover.
Nobody mentioned that.
Yeah, nobody did.
Because somebody always ended up getting hurt, really.
Yes. I mean, oh my gosh, you would hurt arms like crazy or accidentally knock somebody in the throat. Clothesline them. I don't think they allow them to play that anymore because too many people got hurt. I think that's no longer an acceptable schoolyard game, but it takes you back, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it takes
I
you
just
right back.
think back in life back then and how just innocent you were. Like you just had fun. You know, you just had fun.
Just love Red Rover too.
I want to play Foursquare now. Now it's got me going. I want to get up a good game of Foursquare.
Yeah.
So, and then I start thinking about the fashion and about like our old school photos and the things that our parents used to dress us in. And like, I remember the younger years, Granimals. Did you wear Granimals?
No, we didn't have them, but
you didn't have them.
But I remember wanting them.
I want to say they were like a Sears brand or something back then. I can't remember who had Granimals, but you matched up your giraffe. If there was a giraffe on the shirt, you'd find a pair of shorts with the giraffe, and as long as the little animal matched, then you knew you could wear those together.
Oh, some of my favorites were, and this was probably, I don't know, middle school age, jams. Do you remember when jams?
Yes, I had jams, several jams.
I wanted jams so bad, and we just I couldn't afford them at the time. So my mother's a great seamstress, and we were all taking home ec in school. So she took the neighbors and us to the fabric store, and we picked out fabric. And that summer, we made like all of our own jams.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Which makes me think of Birdwell beach breeches because we lived at the beach. Did you guys ever wear Birdwell beach breeches?
I've never heard of it. No.
Oh, Birdwell's beach breeches were swim trunks really made for guys, but girls got into wearing them. And so you'd wear your bikini, but then you'd throw a pair of Birdwell beach breeches over them. And I always look when I'm sourcing stuff, like looking at vintage stuff, I always hope one day to find more Birdwell beach breeches somewhere. They were just such cool.
I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna have to look that up. I don't remember that.
Yeah, we'll have to share. I'll find an image and share Birdwell beach breeches. And then the other one that comes to mind, because we're on the lower part of the body right now, is the space pants.
Oh, God.
The balloon. What were they? Was it Michael Jackson that wore them first, or David Bowie? But we all had to have them.
Yeah, they were horrible.
They were horrible, weren't they? Horrible.
How about Z Cavaricis? I loved my Z Cavaricis. Did you have Z Cavaricis?
I don't think I did. I don't.
It came back a couple years ago. Like people were really into them.
Describe. I need a description.
All right, so it was like chino material generally. Sometimes they were jeans. And they kind of like balloons out at the hips, but the top, like the waistband was like a V, and they had a little tag that said Z Cavarici kind of in the pocket there with the zipper.
Yeah, no,
And
I got nothing.
You would roll the bottom, you'd fold and roll and wear your scrunch socks over the bottom.
My gosh, I got nothing here.
What?
I'm going to have to look at a picture. Maybe it'll flood back.
Oh my gosh. I loved mine, but they probably were horrible because you looked like a pear or something,
I think of the Oompa Loompa pants, how they went out wide at the hip. Like the Oompa Loompas on Wonka. That's what it makes me think of as you're describing it for some reason.
I don't know.
For some reason.
Let's see. What does Tiffany say? I don't know about then, but I found this. In February 2008, the brand was relaunched in the U.S. and sold exclusively by Walmart in its stores and online.
Okay, who is that? Is that Granimals or Birdwells? Who, Tiffany? I'm curious.
Dance. I don't know. Let us know, Tiff.
Parachute pants.
So I don't know if that's what they relaunched. We'll find out shortly.
She'll let us know.
She's in the back doing research here, man. She's getting into this.
So but here's one of my memories of clothes shopping before I got smart about circular economy, shopping, thrift, and all that.
Yeah.
I would go with my boyfriend, and we had to go shopping for clothes. Pretty much you'd go to Savannah, which was a half an hour away, because Hilton Head didn't have malls back then. They had little boutique stores, which were nice to shop, but they were always expensive. And you'd get some things there, like your prom dresses or whatever. But typically when you wanted to shop, the cool places like Express and Guess and all those kind of places, you would go over to Savannah, to Oglethorpe Mall in Savannah. So my boyfriend and I and a couple of our friends went to Oglethorpe shopping one time, and I didn't have any money with me. It wasn't one of those times where my checkbook was full. So I found 100 things that I'd love to have this. I'd love to have that. I'd love to have this. And I did buy like a shirt. In fact, I remember because I did my school picture was done in that, and it was white parachute pants with a big check black and white shirt, popped up collar with my gold herringbone chain.
Oh my God. Can you find that picture?
I'm sure somewhere.
Need to see it.
Yeah, I think somewhere I was in high school, but it was like maybe freshman year, sophomore year. Totally can remember it. But then for Christmas that year, my parents, all I wanted to do was go shopping and have money to shop and not fret about it. Gave me cash, a nice sum of cash. So Paul and I went back to Oglethorpe because I was ready to go shopping. And daggum if I couldn't find anything I wanted.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you pulled a Pretty Woman.
I did not. It was like when I don't have the money, I find everything I want. But then when I did have the money, I just couldn't bite it to spend the money. Like I was like, oh, but then my money will be gone. Do I really want this? And that was kind of my first like mature like growth in shopping, to think, how badly do you want this? Because once this money's gone, you have no more. So do you really want it? Like, and I left with just a few outfits. Oh, she said the Granimals.
The Granimals. So Walmart, the brand was relaunched in the U.S. by Walmart in 2008. Granimals. There you have it.
Granimals. Gotta love Granimals.
Oh my gosh.
It was so easy because when you were little, you wanted to dress yourself, but your parents never wanted you to, So, and when I taught preschool, and when Nick and I first moved to Greenville, I had a class of 4-year-olds. One of my favorites, this little girl, her father did the morning routine with her every morning because the mom had an affluent job that got her to the office early. And so the dad was like this super cool laid back musician guy. And the mom, they were such a great couple because they were complete opposites of each other. Like he was very laid back musician and she was this high, doctor, everything was just so. But they just were a great couple and a great family. They would let their daughter dress herself. And it was so cute because she would come to school with like a pigtail off the side of her head and like stripes with polka dots. And every time I'd look at her, I'd think Punky Brewster. Like and the dad was just so amazing with her. But, most kids, your parents want you to match. Like they don't let you go. And Granimals was that first step of freedom of feeling like I had power in my clothes. Because I
just said to my 16-year-old, well, I've been saying this all summer, because he wears the slides, like the Nike slide or whatever slides,
right,
on his feet with socks. And I've seen him once all summer with a matching pair of socks. I was like, for the love of God, just when you go someplace with me, I don't ask much, but please, can you put on matching socks?
You know, there's a whole sock line that makes millions by selling you mismatched socks.
Yeah. I guess.
As Elsa would say, let it go.
I feel like I let so much else go, and
Like,
I
and
just
match
have a lot of freedom, but it's just that one thing that drives me crazy.
Right. Come on, kid,
I'll let
you
it
can
go.
do it.
You know what? They're his feet.
They're his feet. One day he'll look back. Though this is the best when they look back and go, "How could you let me?" Like Cal looks back at his infant picture, like toddler pictures when we would dress him in the little smocked John Johns all the time. Like I always dressed him in John Johns. He wore John Johns every day. It didn't matter where we were going or what we were doing. I put that kid in John Johns with his little toe cap kids, like cute as could be. And he sees pictures now, and all he'll do is look at me and go, "You so hated me as a child, didn't you? You hated me. Why would you? I was a boy. Why would you put me in that? You hated me, didn't you?" No, you were wearing adorable little thing, Bailey Boys and Island Child clothing. No, you were like the best dressed kid. No, you hated me. Why would you do that? So that'll come back to you as Avery will go, "Why would you let me wear socks like that?" Why?
Emma's already doing that to me. In 6th grade, why would you let me wear that? Why would you let me wear cowboy boots and a skirt? Like blue cowboy boots and a skirt? So I was like, because you wanted to.
And you're like, the arguments that happened in the kitchen in the morning because I didn't want you to. But then I just let you go. But they forget about that.
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. That is true.
Yep. All right, what else? Anything else before we head on?
Well, this week we're trying something a little new on social media, so stay tuned.
Yes,
it's going to be a lot of fun. It's something new, so follow us Facebook, Instagram. Oh, guys, and if you haven't, please like and subscribe to our channel. Like this video and subscribe to our channel. I really appreciate it. And if you're listening on podcasts, if you can hop into Apple Podcasts and give us a review, it really helps us in the search. We'd really appreciate it.
We'd appreciate.
Yeah, absolutely. And check out social media, see what we're up to this week. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm sure we'll be talking about it next Sunday. And
whether our idea was good or not, we won't know till it's done.
Oh, true. Yeah. All right.
It's just a fun, small idea. It's just, just something, a different focus. Nothing like, but just fun.
Just fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get back. You have to get on the road, and
I have to get on the road.
And I have some organizational work to do here. So I'm going to get that started. And some of it's getting my son ready to start school tomorrow. So all this back to school talk has really got me ready to roll with that.
So P-Dub starts tomorrow, huh?
Yep.
Wow. Crazy. Yep. Everybody down here has already been back. You know how the South starts earlier.
Yeah. I always forget about it. I'm always shocked by that. Mm-hmm. He starts tomorrow, and he's looking forward to a good year. And
well, give him my love. Tell him to rock it out, as I know he will.
All right. Will do.
All right.
All right.
Talk to you later.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.